G'day. Now, I've been quite vocal about how strongly I feel about the business community needing restrictions to lift Australia and Australians so we can get back to our livelihoods. It is important to regularly debate the key issues affecting our nation's economy because there is so much confusing bullshit, misleading jargon out there that many of us can be scared of from even giving a shit. It's so scary we just give up. I want to continue to simplify the important issues for business owners, entrepreneurs and young Australians who want to take control of their lives. To some extent, we've lost control of our lives. One of the main drivers for many business owners is that they get to chase their own freedom and their own independence. That's really important as Aussies. But to express freedom and independence, you need to understand the environment within which we operate. To put it simply, you need to understand the ebbs and the flows of the economy. How does it roll? The reality is we are not entirely independent. We may feel independent and free, but the truth is we are somewhat beholden to economic forces well beyond our control. The first quarter of this year has certainly assured me of that. COVID has underlined that. One of the critical issues now facing this nation right now is the restrictions currently on interstate travel, restrictions on business, restrictions everywhere, which is basically the opposite freedom. The country's leaders and media are obsessed with one narrative, and that's the COVID deaths narratives. For me, the greater risk right now is the risk of deaths in business. That's right, death in business. The risk of unemployed casuals and kids. The risk of people losing their business purpose. The reason for waking up in the morning for all of us. The risk of people who have to put all their life and money into a business that has been crippled by a global pandemic and overreaching state governments that have refused to let our business community get back to doing what they do best, which is the thing they love doing, the thing that holds them together. This thing is looking after the rest of this country. Now, I've previously made it clear that I don't want anybody to die from COVID. I don't care whether you're 3 years of age or 83 years of age. I don't want anyone to die from anything. I don't want anyone to die from skin cancer. I don't want anyone to die from stomach cancer. I don't want anyone to die from motor neuron disease. I don't want anyone to die from a heart attack or a stroke. I don't want anyone to die from anything. And I certainly don't want anyone to suffer. But also absolutely reject that narrative that this deadly virus is just cause to kill off an entire portion of the biggest employer in this country, and that is the small to medium business owners. Now, what I don't want to see as a result of this value judgment, this trade-off now, is the death of businesses as a result, the bankruptcy of businesses, the bankruptcy of individuals, the bankruptcy of our heart and our soul, the loss of what drives us every day of the week, the thing that gets us out of bed in the morning, the thing that makes us feel part of something, the thing that makes our wife, our husband, our children feel proud. We're being forced to accept the decisions of state leaders who we're being told are trying to score political points. Because no doubt it looks good on their resume if the number of COVID cases in the hospitals remains low. Got it. But we're already seeing the trade-off. That trade-off is an economic one. The accommodation, hospitality and tourism industries are now fucked. PwC reported that tourism and the transport industry is expecting a monthly average loss of $2 billion nationally post-March this year. They're expecting job cuts of up to 20% in this industry. In hospitality, the Australian Bureau of Statistics reported 96% of businesses are expecting further hits to their trade in the coming months. PricewaterhouseCoopers, PwC, they're reporting that in this COVID period, the national income loss as a result of the economic downturn is expected to be in the region of $279 billion. A Monash University study of over 1,200 Australians clearly shows a rise in anxiety and depression in our communities as a result of the coronavirus and the fear of the unknown. That's right, the fear of the unknown, that great thief of imagination. A major contributor to so many issues we see right now is the role of the media and the leaders in peddling an alarmist narrative. It's an easy one, designed to strike fear into our everyday lives. Such is the state of a lot of the media hype that Lifeline are even advising people to manage your exposure to media coverage, as this can increase your feelings of fear and anxiety. They want us to be mindful of the sources of information and ensure that you are accessing good quality and accurate and calm information. But the truth of the matter is this: keeping Australia locked down and strangling businesses is going to cause too many of our businesses, too many people in our community to shut down. And it's going to drive up the mental health issues in this country. It's going to deepen our recession, and it's going to make an economic recovery all the more of an uphill battle. Those people we rely on for the recovery are going to be really weary. Now we're hearing politicians and commentators saying that this will be a private sector-led recovery. Yet whilst we expect the private sector to lead, the small business community continues to bleed. Business owners are suffering. I can't say that enough. Business owners are suffering. I get it. Premiers, you got to play politics. Whilst restrictions are incongruous and they're disjointed. We got through the hard bit, the tough bit. Start giving me the science. The preoccupation of media and governments with measurement and numbers and bloody graphs that have to absolutely no fucking relevance to the wider community is outrageous. It's starting to really gore me. It's appalling. The major concern of everyone is going to be, how does this apply to me? That's what we all ask ourselves when we read the news. What's in it for me, or how is this going to hurt me? Unfortunately, commentators and decision makers have forgotten about Australians who work for the living. They've forgotten the ambitious, the self-reliant, the strivers, the independent Australians when they decide to shut down the entire country for far longer than it needed to be. They've forgotten about the skilled workers who wake up every single morning at 3, 4 and 5 a.m. The cafe owners who invested their life into their hospitality business. The florists who are at the markets every morning, 4 a.m, finding the flowers. They've forgotten about the pubs and the clubs that are the lifeblood of our local communities, a meeting place. They've forgotten about the Australians who just get the job done, the Australians who keep our economy ticking over, the Australians who just want to go out and work and fulfil their purpose in life. And that's why I'm here. I'm here to stand up for those who don't have a voice, those who don't feel confident in expressing their opinions, God forbid, and those who are genuinely interested in their personal future and the future of their families in this country and the future of this nation. I'm going to continue standing up for what you asked me to stand up for. I'm going to try to make sense of all this shit. And there's a lot of it. I'm going to try to bring you the relevant opinions on the state of Australia, its economy, its politics, and most importantly, our small business sector. There's 2 million of you. What I want to do is try and empower you to make your own informed judgments about all the shit we're being fed. That's right, fed by the media. That's why they keep calling it the media feed. This recovery relies on the private sector to lead. We can no longer sit by idly while the private sector bleeds to death. Stand up, have your say, stay informed, engage in the discussion, and I'll continue to fight for you. There's nothing in this for me, but I enjoy a good fight. And this is one that I'm going to take to my grave.